Feast or famine? Guys, every single guru has said this about their own coaching programs, and this is actually a real statistic. Over 95% of everybody who signs up for a real estate wholesaling course eventually quits and fails the real estate wholesaling industry. And it's going to be the honest truth. It's the same thing that's going to happen this year. Over 95% of wholesalers are going to quit if you're going to a guru coaching program. And I think that it might even be more because of how crazy this upcoming market is. So in today's video, I want to explain why 95% of wholesalers who are joining these programs and things like that are going to fail this year. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, how you can be part of the 5%, or if you're joining our programs, probably, way over, like way higher than that, like 10x that, and how you can actually become a successful wholesaler, guys. I'm fresh off some couple podcast interviews talking to some really successful people, and really like these are people doing 30, 40, 50, 60. I got a guy $70,000 his first month, and they all have really common traits of how they learned our course for free and became super successful, right? And just it's like these gurus actually claim this stuff, like 95%. It's insane.
Yeah, it's listen, it's not my stat, it's not Zach's stat. I've watched more than one group self-proclaim that 90% of the people that take the program fail. And it's easy to say, well, the student just didn't take the action. They didn't know what they were getting into. Guys, a big part of that is the marketing. It's like everything's done for you. It's easy. You guys know me and Zach basically teach you to go out and embrace the journey. So it doesn't matter if you pay somebody or not, you're still going to have to do the work. So if a guru's sitting there, that like they care about you, but if you don't do it, you already paid them. They're not under any type of obligation. So kind of working with me and Zach is when you talk to us, the deal is we're not going to sugarcoat on it. I'm just going to tell you the truth, because for me to get you successful, I might have to light a fire on you, and I'm not worried about you charging back my the credit card, or like you're going to kick me out of the course. Just you got to go and get it done. So if you want to avoid stats like that, you got to find programs where someone will light a fire under you and understand at the end of the day, it's ultimately you that has to do the work. We can give you the outline with our 25 years experience, but at the end of the day, guys, you got to do the work.
You have to.
No matter how much you pay someone, a duplex is not going to be sitting in your driveway when you get home. If it was that easy, we'd all just pay somebody. So if you pay, you get it for free. You are going to do the same amount of work. I like our system because we actually do this business. Is what I do. I have never shied away from where I started in wholesaling. Guys, I started over 20 years ago. It's funny. I've had people kind of like, oh, you're still doing wholesaling. It's what I do, man. It's in my DNA blood, and I'm proud of it. I've never switched to be a full-time coach. I never trade my time for money. That's my prerogative. I just don't want to do it. And why? Because I watch all these wholesale coaches that get burnt out. Guys, I want to help as many people get started in wholesaling and get them to their first 100K. I know this is the best path because I have probably more, if not the most experience in this field. So Zach's been here 5 years. I'm just telling you, if I can just ignite you and get you to do the work, the rest is a lot of fun. I get it. Wholesaling is not for everybody. But don't be sold a bill of goods that you're going to be sitting on a beach lounge chair flipping properties from your computer without ever talking to anybody. That is a sales program that's being sold to you, and it's not reality. So we're here to help you out today.
We're here to help you out. We're just here to give you the best, basically breakdown of what's going on in this market, how to succeed, and really why these people are failing and how you can actually succeed. So guys, if you're excited, if you're jacked up, come on, we're ready to go. We're excited, guys. I mean, guys, we just came back from another deal we did today. We recorded some videos on it. Pretty fun. But yeah, guys, things are going great. Like I could tell you truthfully with us, we're making more money than we ever had in our entire lives. And that is because of the knowledge we have in our head. We don't care what the market does. Like I always say, it's kind of how you deal with, where you're fishing, right? And the way we fish, we're just in a new, fishing pond, right? And the fish are there. You just got to know where the right place to fish in that different spot, right? And I think most people, they struggle when, they got to fish in another place. And like, if you know it's going there, it's right. It's like if I go and try to find food, but all I've eaten the rest of my life is mac and cheese and pizza. And then I go to like India and I'm like, oh, I'm going to starve. There's no food. There's no pizza or mac and cheese. you know what? I'm just done, right? No, there's food there, right? There's different types. So guys, I can tell you straight up, this is the video for you. This is the video for your success. And if you're jacked up, excited, ready to go, guys, I can tell you, when I say feast or famine, what I mean by that is this can be the greatest opportunity in your entire life to become a millionaire. I could tell anyone straight up looking at me right now on the camera, this can be the year where you make $1 million. This is the 2023 and the end of this year this could be the time where like, you know, I made that decision. I became a millionaire this year.
Guys,
I did it.
Yeah. The stars are aligning for wholesaling. You notice I don't say fix and flip. I don't say landlords. I don't say designers. We're not going to be picking out houses or anything like that. Guys, if this trend continues in real estate, you've been waiting for this for 10 years. Okay. Yeah. You've got to get in now. I'm telling you, man, like I am so excited for this last quarter and all of 2023. We've made incredible business plans. And guys, the people that are going to do the best are the wholesalers. Okay. 100%. You've got to get the deepest discount on the properties, and then you can decide which one to do it. Take your assignments, make sure you get your rent paid, make sure you get your old lady squared up, and then you can ball all you want. Guys, wholesaling is where it's going to be. It's how I made my first fortunes. And in 2023, I have the tools to really dominate. Not only 2023, like right now, we're seeing such substantial discounts, guys. The market's starting to really just melt a bit. So it's feast or famine. We're talking all about it. But this is good for wholesalers because remember, I've always told you can't time the market. We made money from the top of the market. I made money at the bottom of the market. We're here to help you navigate through this today.
That's it. So we're ready to go.
You're jacked up. Energy, man. Let's go.
Let's get some energy. Let's go.
You guys got to have fun, dude. You've watched too many boring videos, and we got to change that right now.
Let's get it.
Go.
Woo!
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Oh, snap. We're ready.
Let's go.
Excited, guys, because I can tell you your life can change this year. But I've said this a lot this week, and I think you know this too. This can be the year where everything changes. But the question is, what are you going to do about it? We collectively, freewholesaling.com, we have the key. So you have a door right now. That's your financial freedom. That is a door. It's locked. You see it. You can't open it. Here's the coolest part. We have given you for free a key.
No credit card required.
Most places like Home Depot, you got to buy $5, $10, $15, $30,000. Just have an opportunity for a key. We're giving you the key for free. The question is, are you going to take that key? There's two types of people. Someone that gets the key and says, this key's silver and it's not gold. Throw it away. That's not right, you know. And they're like, you know, and then they see the door. They're like, that's a long walk. There's got to be an easier way. I can't unlock the key. There must be a smart lock or another window I can use. Or somebody busts through the door, that opens that key, busts through the door, and changes their life and takes the action. Guys, you have to physically, metaphorically, walk to that door and unlock it. You have the key. That is the knowledge in your brain. You have it. The question is, are you going to take the action, just walking and unlocking the door? What is that action? Talking to sellers, cash buyers, follow-ups, marketing, doing deals, making money. That is what it is. And if you're willing to do it, we're ready to go. Let's break this down, guys. I'm excited. The one thing we can tell you before we get into this video, though, is you have to do the work yourself. We cannot make you do the work. I can tell you what to do and help you, and we can kind of do it together. hop on with me. If you got questions, we'll do it. But like you, at the end of the day, this is for you. And guys, when you get your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, your 1,000th deal, and you guys are like, oh, thank you guys so much, Rick and Zach. It's never about what we did for you. It's about what you did for yourself. That is what it comes down to. And it is ultimately up to you. You have to take accountability in your life right now if you are going to be the person that does the work. Okay? That means you can't blame us if you're not being successful. Actually, you can blame us if you didn't talk to us one-on-one. But guys, that is it. Let's break this down. Let's share it. Let's talk about this. So the one thing I can tell you is some gurus have self-proclaimed that in their own stats and their 12, 13, 14, $15,000 courses, they have a 90% fail rate, which means 95% they say it publicly, which means that most people listening to a guru is going to 95% of the time fail. So that's when you see a guru do a podcast a week. If they have 100 students, 95 of them failed, 5 of them succeeded, and those are the ones that hop on the podcast. Just hint, wink, wink. They're like, you did a deal, I got to put you on the podcast, right? It's funny, right?
Yeah, but the reality is, 90%. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, think about that for a second. And the thing is, listen, I don't blame the guru. Call them whatever you want, but it's instantly like, well, the people didn't do what they say they were going to do. Well, maybe a big part of it was the marketing message: sit back, do nothing, take no risk, money just rolls in. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and Zach market because we want to make a change in your life. The difference, though, is when you bring you through our door that doesn't require a credit card, I'm going to be truthful, honest, and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Because when you pay these big fees, there is what we call a honeymoon period. Okay? Guys, it's the worst thing for you. You need someone just going to go, hey, I need to do this. I need to do that. Most people can't handle it, especially when they're paying big fees. Guys, you need to have step-by-step action plans. You get it going, and you got to make changes in your life. And the reality is you've got to be uncomfortable. I'm not trying to teach you everything in real estate investing, okay? So a lot of these courses, you get in, you do that, and then if you survive, you start taking all the upgrades. My problem is the 90% failure ratio, and this is what we are trying to avoid. So I am going to blame you if you don't take the action, but I'm going to remove the barriers. So you should be motivated more than ever. I heard someone's program the other day. The student was telling me, they told me I need to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month in marketing. I'm like, dude, honestly, if that was my requirement, my program, I would look like a rock star. Okay. If I can teach you how to make money with zero, imagine what you can do when you have money in your bank account. So
guys, that's the point, right? Like,
that's it.
We have people in every country pretty much in the world watching us, right? We got people wholesaling in the Philippines, people in Trinidad and Tobago, South Africa, Nigeria, all throughout Ivory Coast, Jamaica, Haiti, Grenada, like everywhere. Europe, Slovenia.
So anybody tells
everywhere.
you there's a financial requirement
There's not
to get into wholesaling real estate, I guarantee you they have a course to sell you. That's why that precedence is set up. In fact, I'm here to tell you one of the reasons I'm a success today, because I started with this business with no money. I had to really figure out what people's motivations were, and I had to get creative to put deals together. I find the more money you have, the more you think you're going to rely on like a guru or a coach to get you through it. And the reality is going to set in real quick. So guys, think about this. This popular Shark Tank, right? People pitch an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And the minute the guy goes, well, what's your funding? Well, we did a crowdfunding of $3.7 million. Have you made any money yet? No. Then you take someone a little bit scatterbrained, but this guy went door to door. He goes, I sold $100,000 in 2 weeks. I think I have something here. I just don't know how to put it forward. They go, what's your margin? He goes, about 70% margins. I want the guy that's going to go door to door and do that, because you have to prove the concept. So many of you guys think you have to load your bank accounts, spend all this marketing, get all these people. And I'm here to tell you, just get one deal, get 2 deals, get 3 deals, and then you start scaling up your systems. If you learn how to make money with no money, you become what we call a true entrepreneur. If you think you're going to buy your way through this, you're absolutely nuts. Remember, this is the fundamentals. I'm not talking about running a large business. It's just getting it up and running. And the minute I tell you, got to, well, my coaching program is $5,000 and you need to spend $3,000 to $5,000 every month, I go, I can make anybody work on that.
Exactly.
And they're most likely going to fail in the long run the minute there's a hiccup in the market. So
that's what we're teaching about today.
I like proven business models that work. If you can prove it works on a small scale, then you can scale it up.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're just going to throw money and coaching program it until you get to a profitable level, it's not there.
I agree. So this is the question. Let's break down the first one. Why do 95% of wholesalers fail in these programs, right? And why do a lot of wholesalers fail in general, right? And it really comes down to three key things. And I really hate to say it, but like the first thing is just a lack of self-discipline. And this is probably gonna be the biggest and most important part on here, but no one ever teaches this besides us. And it's the craziest. I love everyone says, oh, you need an accountability partner or someone that's going to be accountable for you. That's okay. But the thing is, you were good for me starting out, but like you weren't my accountable. Like how many calls did you do today? Yeah, you didn't have to ask me that. You knew when I woke up before when I went to bed that all I thought was wholesaling and all I was doing was wholesaling, right? Like you never once asked me how many signs I put out for that. It was already out. Okay. Whatever was in that truck was already put out. Okay. And so the honest truth is self-discipline. It's really, really difficult for a lot of people. Some struggle with it, but I hate to say like, oh, I don't have a personality for it. You're going to have to create a personality for it, right? Like, do you eat food every day? Well, that's discipline too. Like, but I'm not a disciplined person. Well, you always find a way to get some food or water in for the day, right? Wow. Always get some time to talk to sellers, right? Like, guys, finding deals has to be as important as brushing your teeth. Like you got to do it every day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Like you're going to brush your teeth and some people don't on me here, maybe, but like that's the honest truth, guys. Like you have to create discipline in your life. This is the thing a lot of these guru programs don't have, but it always comes down to one sentence for self-discipline. Create a schedule and stick to it. That is what we teach at freewholesaling.com. That is why our success rate at freewholesaling.com is insane. One thing you guys have to understand about freewholesaling.com, every single time I talk to somebody that got their first, second, third, fourth, fifth deal from our stuff, and it's an insane amount. We get DMs, not hundreds of DMs a day, but like a little less than that. But we get 10s, 15, 20 DMs a day of people. Oh my God, I got my first deal locked up. All this stuff, right? Yeah, but like when I go talk to these people, there's one common denominator with all of them. And it's like, wait, what do they do, right? Do they work out chest in the morning? Do they squat on a Tuesday? Like what's the secret, right? Do they put on the specific cologne? Like what's the secret, right? It's one thing. And like it's really, they did the work, right? Like there's not one person that magically just was lazy and they got a deal sent to them, right? They all did the work. And another bonus is, I would say for 95% of them, the ones that got their first, second, or third deal, which I call them successful in wholesaling, more or less, they watched every single video at freewholesaling.com. Like no ifs, ands, or like all of them that became successful. I know everyone that's consistently doing deals that learned from us on the YouTube channel and on like they watched every single free wholesale. Did they miss one? Did they skip the marketing one? Did they skip the how to overcome the objections ones? No, they watched every single one. And what I found is from the guys like interviewing one guy today, he rewatches a lot of the videos before he cold calls. He rewatches the objections ones. When he has a seller that needs a creative finance, he rewatches the creative finance modules, right? Like that is a common denominator. And this isn't a plug to go to freewholesaling.com because if you have already heard us talk about it and you haven't done it, you're just failing yourself and your family if you're not taking that out. It's free, guys. But the thing is, they watch every single one. And the funny part is when somebody comes up to me and they complains, they come up to me on the one-on-ones and they complain that they're not becoming successful. You know what's the one thing they always say?
What's that?
I always ask them, did you go through all the videos? No, I skipped that part. Why are you having this issue with your acquisitions? Did you go through the acquisitions module? Why didn't you do a yes or no decision? Oh, I skipped the acquisitions part. Oh, like, right, you skipped parts of freewholesaling.com and now you have an issue. Now you're coming to me, right? I had one guy on Thursday. He came up to Friday. He came up to me and he said, I talked to a seller and they said, maybe, what do I do now? And I'm like, didn't you condition them for a yes or no decision? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you should have gone to freewholesaling.com. He said, I did. I'm like, did you go through the acquisition? He's like, no. And I'm like, see, you've literally torn your ACL and you come to me and say, how do I fix this? When clearly what you could have done was not do the stupid thing you did, right? It's like you accidentally, go in a pool of hot lava and you're like, how do I save myself? It's like, like, right? Like, So that is like a common denominator. I just want, like, it's self-discipline, and self-discipline isn't this crazy thing. Like, there's no secret course to do it. I can tell you right now, you go watch all the David Goggins, Gary V, like motivational Tony Robbins videos. That will not teach you self-discipline. It'll get you motivated.
It's a spark.
You can listen to all the intro songs that we have on this channel, but that's not going to get you self-discipline. Self-discipline is all about doing the stuff you do not want to do, but you do it anyway because you know that's going to help you out with your success. Do you think I want to work out every single day, 5 days a week? No, I don't. I would rather be chilling in like a Snuggie or something, really a soft blanket, and just not work out and just relax, right? Yeah. I would rather do that. I promise you that. But I feel better working out because I know I did the work. I know it became better. I know I increased my health, which will make me feel better, which will make me more money and become a better person around for me and my family and all my friends. But create a schedule and stick to it. I promise you right now, most successful wholesalers do that. And if you're not going to do it, you're going to fail.
Yeah. It's, guys, pick your heart. Like it's
that exactly. Pick your heart.
You got to pick your heart because it's, so if you don't pick it, it will be picked for you. So if you decide,
say that again.
If you don't pick it, it will be picked for you. There's an analogy. If you choose to eat all the bonbons you want, sit on the couch and never move and eat unlimited amounts of whatever you want, you're going to wind up eventually uncomfortable and in a bad physical shape. Same thing with working out. If you want to do that and you want to get proactive on it, you work out. Listen, I do it too. Like, dude, I'm getting old, man. It's painful. I got so many pains going on right now, but I still go. I have to adapt to it. And that's the difference. But here's what I do. Like when I work out, I focus on how I'm going to feel afterwards and the benefits I'm going to get from it as opposed to the pain. So let's go to wholesaling. If you got to make 300 cold calls and you're committed to it, yes, it's not fun when you're doing it, but think about the destination you're going to. If I can find 1 or 2 deals out of this, this is going to free me up. I can get out of this desk job. I can spend more time with my family, and then I can get onto the road to financial freedom. So the key when you're doing this is you have to focus on where you're going, acknowledge where you're at, and understand you got to have fun on the journey on the entire way because it's not all like perfect. You're going to have some days. Those days will pass and you will get there. I would love to tell you every day is perfect, but focus on where you want to be as to where you are now because we all started somewhere. I remember the day I made the decision on wholesaling. I've never forgot it, and I'm never going to change my mission here, okay? I'm not too big for my britches. I understand the struggles. I was horrified when I made this choice. And all I did was focus on when I get this deal, I'm going to be in better position. So just think 1 deal ahead, 1 phone call ahead, 1 mailer ahead, 1 text away. And if you focus on where you're going to wind up, like, when we're all going on vacation, you all picture yourself sitting on the beach, just relaxing with a cool drink in your hand. Wholesaling is no different. Okay. But to pay for that vacation, you need to contact a ton of people and get yourself in that position. So focus on the journey you're heading to. Stop obsessing on where you are right now because it's just temporary, and enjoy the ride along the way and be present with your family, your workers, everybody you work with. Life's short, guys. Have fun. Wholesaling has probably been the greatest gift of my life other than my children and my wife. Hope you're all watching. And that's it. I would have been, guys, if I didn't make this change, I'd be sitting behind that desk right now being tortured with my college degree in finance. I'd have my good job. I'm telling you guys, there's so much more. What you tolerate is what you're going to get in life. I'm giving you an opportunity. If you decide to go on the ride, we would love to have you on it.
Pick your struggle. I always say that. Like,
pick it.
I'll tell you one straight up thing. Like, I remember when we went to, I've always said, guys, we're planning a lot more international trips just for me, for you, for just traveling, just because the panoramic has kind of gone away. It's a little easier to go around. And most importantly, I think this is the coolest part. Like, I picked my struggle pretty easy, right? Like, So it's one thing, like you always say, like you kind of say it's kind of true. Like you just can't sit on a boat all day and wholesale, right? But like the truth is we struggle mostly. Like I struggled a lot starting out, cold calling my dorm room just 5 hours a day. Oh my gosh, grind. And now I'm at the point now where I work 3, 4, 5 hours a week on my wholesaling real estate business. And the coolest part about that is like I can go anywhere in the world. I got my team doing it for me, and I get to kind of relax and make more money than I ever had in my entire life. You know why? Because I struggled. I literally did 20 years worth of wholesaling within 5 years. And I would probably call it 25, 30. And probably 5x the average person's like time span of wholesaling in under 5 years. And it's kind of crazy, but like Michael Jordan within 3, 4, 5 years, he had a lifetime of knowledge and skills just because he put in the effort, right? And I think that's the most important part. Like I pick my struggle, and picking your struggle comes to multiple things like that. We either relax and not do the work, and then eventually it's going to struggle. Like, do you want to do the struggle of talking to sellers, picking up that phone? Let's talk about one struggle real quick. I know a lot of people have this issue, picking up the phone and talking to somebody.
It sucks.
It sucks. I enjoy it. I like closing sellers, but here's the coolest part. You'll struggle picking up that phone, talking to sellers, maybe even get berated by sellers, whatever. Like, but here's the thing. The struggle of that is nothing compared to the struggle of being broke. I'll tell you this straight up. There are struggles to having a lot of money, and everyone rolls their eyes, right? Like we make a lot of money in wholesaling. I remember once you were like, oh, Zach, we got to buy this one house. You got to move this money into this and this account. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to go to the bank and do this wire. I was like, rolling my eyes. I'm like, wait, this is rich people problems, right? Like, but that's the thing. The struggle though of being broke is nothing compared to the struggle of cold calling, bandit signs, talking to sellers, right? Like when I was struggling with that, eventually I struggled for like a month or two, but like the money started coming in. I just kept struggling myself. So I didn't, guys, either you want to struggle in your own business or you're going to struggle in your financial situation. Which would you rather struggle in? And eventually it clears up. But guys, there was a light in the end of the tunnel. But I've told everybody on my path to become a millionaire in wholesaling, your path to become a millionaire in wholesaling, everyone's path that became millionaires through wholesaling, all of them, they've had specific phases. And there's seasons in your life, phases in your life. I had the learn and earn phase. And then I literally called it my grind phase. It was kind of my lost year. If you look at it, like every single moment was spent on wholesaling, talking to sellers, bandit signs, cold calling. Like it was a flash in my eyes. Like it was sad because it wasn't sad, but like I lived, ate, breathed wholesaling for like all that. And then I was able to scale up and go from there. That 1 year of struggling has catapulted me to riches I could ever even imagine in my life. And that's when I learned virtual wholesaling, SMS tax plus, all this stuff. So just guys, you won't be in the grind forever, but if you go through it, you'll become way better coming out of it. And guys, you have to do it. And the people that don't want to do it, that's it, guys. Like
yeah, a big part of this business is
slow
sometimes
feet don't eat.
Sometimes you just got to admit it if you don't want to do it. It's actually easier. I mean, there's so many people, everybody wants that end goal, like financially free, more time with it. I have never met someone, I guess every now and then there's a freak, but everybody wants. The question is, are you willing to make the sacrifices to get there? That's the only thing that's negotiable. I've told you guys, if you will go 2 years hard in the paint in wholesaling, your life will be beyond freed up to your wildest dreams.
Hard in the paint.
Are you going to put the 24 months in? I remember like Jason, we were talking to a few times. I remember his first 6 months, every week, twice a week, if not 3 times a week, he came on here. He never thought about quitting. And that was the one thing I knew he would make it. But it took him about 4 months and he started clicking. Now, last time we talked to him, he has more deals than he knows what to do with. But the problem is you have to go through that struggle. And I'm telling you guys, 2 years, it's not long. I'm 52 years old. It's not long. Trust me. I know when you guys are young, you go, oh my God, 2 years, it's a lot. Try 25, 40 years in a corporate job. That's torture. So 2 years, it will change. And honestly, the 2 years is to become completely free. Honestly, 1 or 2 deals is all you need to change the trajectory of you, your financial life, and your family.
And I'll tell you straight up, and I think you know this better than anyone as an entrepreneur. it is probably getting the wholesaling and the grind, right? It is mentally the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I've gone through some crazy stuff, but I could tell you straight up, the mental pain, the suffering, honestly, of just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and not even knowing if this is working, just going through it and trusting the process.
That's the hard part.
It sucks.
That's it. Honestly, guys, that is the real course, because the thousands and thousands and thousands of people I've talked to over the last 20 years in wholesaling, like you feel like you're a hamster running on this thing and you're not getting anywhere. And you're like, is this normal? How many calls before you made a deal? I'm just telling you, you're on your path. You just can't see it. And that's the problem. I would like to tell you a guru or mentor will shine the light on you, make it. It's apparent and it's obvious. The real question is, will you take that blind trust and do that work? It's like that guy you see him where he's digging for the gold. He digs an entire cave and he's 2 strokes away from hitting the gold mine. Don't let that be you. So either go all in and have a lot of fun doing it, or just go back to like regular work. Once again, pick your struggle, because if you don't pick it, it will be chosen for you.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to watch it between family and friends and everything. If you do not pick it, it will be picked for you. And to me, that is not an option. It's just, and I don't want it to be for anybody here. So it's,
I agree. Guys, becoming a millionaire, making money in wholesaling real estate, it's a rare thing. And I say that truthfully. And I want everyone to know that it's a rare thing, but you know why it's rare? Because most people aren't willing to do what it takes to get there. Most people aren't willing to do it. I'm completely, why isn't 95% of people rich? Why is it 95% of people millionaires? Why? Because they weren't willing to do what it took. There wasn't a secret knowledge thing that stopped you, right? Like it's not like we're playing basketball and you have to be 6'4" and like, a God-given athlete, like you don't need to, right? Like you just got to work.
You can have every disability in the world. I'm ADHD. My teachers told me I would never amount to anything. You might as well just go get like a line worker job. You're never going to get through college. I got through college with a solid C minus, okay? 6 years. And I'm just saying, this isn't about how smart you are. This isn't how pretty you are. This is not how strong or tall you are. It's whoever is the most consistent and keeps pushing along that path wins. Guys, I've seen the people that have always done the best in real estate always have a core foundation of wholesaling. I've never met anyone that wasn't super successful in real estate that didn't get this core foundation. Occasionally a trust fund, but usually they wind up losing all that money. So guys, I'm just telling you, man,
grind.
Wholesaling's where it's at. And the grind, like people like misunderstand the word grind. At some point, you have to grind in life. If people say, oh, you grind, you're doing it wrong. I go, let me tell you, I grinded my first really 12 years in like the business world. I went in the wrong direction though. I did the corporate ladder and I grind and I burnt myself out, and that's how you get sour in life. Then I found wholesaling and I said, listen, I will commit. I was told I had to commit 5 years of my life. I'm like, dude, I'll do 10. I just did 12. So once you guys understand that, it's so hard to go in one direction. It's like if somebody sends you in the woods and go, just keep going that way and pick up 4 sticks every hour. And after about 4 hours, you're like, this doesn't seem to be working. You're on a journey. You have to trust it to a point. The problem is, who do you trust? What's the cost to get there? And do I have to pay to be successful? And you already know the answer to that. We offer to you at like freewholesaling.com. I just want you guys to understand, man, so many guys are like in the struggle right now. And you're like, man, this doesn't work. I'm telling you, man, I literally felt like I was there yesterday and I still do this business. So I've never lost where I'm going. I've taught Zach the fundamentals of how I work. Every deal has to stand on its own. I do not do speculation. I make money today and I build long-term assets for the future. So we want to get you along the ride.
So let's talk about like some more specifics, because we want to get on a little rant there just to let you know, guys, like what's the secret? Like why do we have the largest real estate wholesaling course? Why do we have the most success stories ever? Just because I tell people the truth. And it's sad because so many people, like especially the gurus, they want to tell you, like, you know what?
No, don't worry about it.
They want to tell you, hey, it's the secret strategy. If you pay us money, everything will be amazing. And that is not the truth. You have to put your work in. You have to do it, right? Like the stuff, the secret stuff's there. So guys, let's kind of break into kind of the nitty gritty stuff of like what other stuff you can do, because we are trying to give you the key here and we're excited. This is such an exciting time for so many people.
Do people still do keys?
Yeah.
Aren't they like apps now? You give them the
Opened
app.
a key to a house right now today,
Okay.
right? Like, so it's true. So guys, the rules have changed. And I want you guys to understand that, like I've said, this will either be the greatest time to get started in wholesaling or the worst time, depending on what you do, who do you listen to, and what like you're following for things, right? So just understand the rules have changed. And what I mean by the rules have changed, we are in a different time in wholesaling real estate. Real estate is going on a slow but steady downward spiral. And real estate, from your perspective, and I've honestly seen, it's probably going to be going down 1% a month for the next 6 to 12 months. Could be longer, but that's mostly what we're seeing. For the next year, it should be going down 1% a month, which means in 10 months, it'll be down 10%, which isn't that crazy, but that's insane speed. But like, it's really slow. And so what this means is once the pendulum swings, right? Most of the time, things are swinging up, and that's always good.
Yeah.
But there are periods where stuff swings down. And the coolest part about that is when it swings down, you're going to make more money than ever. And I always told everyone this, guy, we've been consistent on this. So the thing is, the rules have changed. And I can always give you one analogy. And I have multiple analogies for this, but honestly, it's like playing a video game. And, you know, the one guy has a new weapon, and then you're trying to play with the old weapon, right? It's insane, right? Like if I have a sword and then you have your fist and you're trying to fight me, it ain't going to go down well, right? And then if somebody has a sword and then they're all fighting with swords and then one guy pulls up with a gun, things are different, right?
Yeah.
Or like a bow and arrow, right? Like the rules have changed and you have to change with them or you will not do well.
And guys, keep in mind that a good analogy is when I started in wholesaling, it was in a rising market. I really thought I was the golden child. So 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7 got ugly and 8 fell off of a cliff. Okay. And I swear I spent a year and a half trying to figure out what I did wrong in wholesaling. And I didn't change with the rules and I didn't understand it. And then once I figured it out, I always stayed back to the conservative styles because for the next really 4 or 5 years, I just went on fundamental principles on the make money today on the wholesaling model. Now, fast forward, anybody got in this business since 2013 on, I'm not going to say they got lucky, but it was hard to screw it up. Okay. So really in the last 4 or 5 years, it's gotten so convoluted that wholesaling has been redefined. Like the rules have changed. So when Zach says the rules have changed, it means the core principles of wholesaling are going to come into play. So just like stocks, remember how we used to like you do valuation on the stocks, you do like price earnings ratios. They got so out of whack, people just bought it on speculation. Same thing with wholesaling. So when the rules have changed, wholesaling's been around forever, guys. Nobody invented this. Anybody claims that they are the entrepreneur of wholesaling is lying, okay? We have to go back to fundamentals. How long are we going to be on this? We're going to be in it for a while, in my opinion. And it's like the same people that are telling you 3 to 6 months ago, everything's fine. I've got buyers. It's all good. And then all of a sudden, the fear headlines have come out. So when the rules have changed, it just means we're getting back to common sense wholesaling. You can't just throw stuff under contract and see if it works. That was a wish list. People love to play realtor, guys. I tell you, avoid getting your realtor's license. It confuses you, it confuses your seller, and it confuses your in-game plan in wholesaling, in my opinion. Guys, that's my opinion. Do what you want with it.
So let's break down the rules, right? So I think the number one rule you guys should understand is let's talk about some rules that change, right? So I think one of the rules that change is ARV is different. That's not his truth, right? Like when you look at ARV, you used to go by comps, and last 6 months, pull it last 2 months, 3 months. With real estate going down, you got to understand that, like, if I look at a comp from 3 or 4 months ago, I'm going to have to discount that comp. And like back then, like, 2019, when I had a comp from 2017, I would upgrade that comp. Now I just have to discount it, right? That's pretty much like, this isn't like groundbreaking stuff. I mean, most gurus sell you a $5,000-$10,000 course on this. But like you just discount it, right? So if real estate's gone down 15% since a year ago, then a comp from a year ago, I'm probably going to take down probably 17, 18% just to be safe, right? Like that, like, so everyone's like, the ARV rule has changed. No, it hasn't. Okay. It's just how you choose ARV. The MAO and the offer formula, always the same. The issue is most people do ARVs from like a year ago, and they're like, this is what the comp really shows now. And no, it's not. And so like, you just got to be smart with it, and you got to understand it, because like every guru's like, well, use 70% rule. Yeah. You're using 70% of a $300,000 house because you're honestly, you're being too naive not to go actually discount your own comps, guys. Do what cash buyers do. I always tell you, you have to think like a cash buyer when you're doing the ARV and comps, because they're the ones buying your deal. Mm-hmm. So if you think as a wholesaler, which the gurus tell you, you're going to fail. Because when you go tell a cash buyer that the comps show the ARV's 300 and then 70% off of it. No, the cash buyers are like, no, the ARV's 250, but I'll give you an extra 85% off of it, right? Yeah. Because cash buyers are smart. How do you think they got the money to buy the house cash? Yeah. They're smart. So you have to think like them.
Yeah. So ARV is really, you guys, everybody focuses on the 70%. If you can get the ARV correct, you don't have to sit there and obsess over this 70%, because 70% of an overpriced comp, you might wind up paying 85% for the property. So spend more time on the ARV. The key is you have to come up with your comps. So comps are always arranged. There's no one dead set comp. Don't ever let a realtor tell you that. You're going to have a high and you're going to get a low. Guess which one you're picking in this market? You take the lowest one, and then the really good wholesaler is going to discount it on top of that in anticipation of comps falling.
Yeah, unless it's Chinese draw or something crazy, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. And then those deals that you go, you need 4 to 6 months, I'll wait. You can't do that anymore. Or you say, listen, every month you take, I got to knock off X% of the deal in the contract. So time is now going to cost you money, which is the reality. Because some of you guys, we even sat on properties for a year or two because we had properties going up $20,000, $40,000. It's crazy. The opposite effect is happening now. Guys, get the accurate ARV, and listen, don't let other people steer you on your ARV on your comps. Yeah. They are a finite number. It's a range, but too much cherry picking has been going on ARVs, and you got to match apples to apples in the neighborhood. Every now and then you get a wild child, but you can't argue comps with a cash buyer. Like, he's going to pick the lowest. He or she will pick the lowest.
They're going to be upset at you too. You have to do it the right way. That's why we teach you at freewholesaling.com, and that's why it works for you. I just feel like so many wholesalers I've said a million times, just stop listening to gurus. They're broke. They don't know what they're doing. Like, honestly, I can look at a cold calling guru and I can hear their script. And if their script sounds like it's from 2012, I know it is, because they're wholesaling like it's 2012 right now. Guys, if the scripts are terrible, every single successful, like, I know gurus that do cold calling, and I know legit do hundreds of thousands a month, and I see their script and I'm like, okay, this guy or gal actually knows what they're talking about, because they actually run businesses. They know what script works or not. It's the guy or gal that doesn't do any deals that tries to show you this crazy robotic script, that you have to say everything perfectly. And if you don't say it perfectly, like, you're screwed. That's how you're going to fail. Right. And they'll charge you like, thousands of dollars for the script. It's crazy. So guys, the rules have changed. You have to be listening to people that are actually legit in this business doing deals. And if you're not, you're going to fail. Right. So like, it's just hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are really, like, we've come up in an environment in the last 5 years with the internet and everything. It's like the perfect coaching world. Like, so the problem is a true teacher, like, this doesn't matter real estate. Somebody has to be a master at it before they teach it to you. What's a master? In my opinion would be 10 years. You 10 years completely successful in doing it, and then they can teach their wisdom in doing it.
What about me?
You're there, but like you're in it every day, so it's like twice. I say about twice the exposure, but like, honestly,
I say 1,000 deals.
This kid didn't crack it with anyone till like really 5 years of hardcore experience, and I'm just here to tell you is there's so many people out there, but he does the business today. Well, we're not running a full-time coaching model, because that's the difference in it. I'm just here to tell you, when you guys are taking advice from people, just make sure the credentials are there. They've spent the time, they've mastered their skill, and then just make the decision on that.
I'll be honest with you. I would probably not be listening to somebody that hasn't gone currently right now. And let's just talk about this really quick. So you said 10 years. I don't believe in that. All right.
Well, that's old school.
Well, can I tell you what's the honest truth? If you are not listening to somebody currently right now in wholesaling, unsubscribe to any YouTube channel if they don't follow this, unless mine. Keep on mine. But I just live cold calling. So, I would not trust anybody talking about a market crash unless they have actually physically gone through a market crash and have made at least $500,000. I'm not even doing a million's pushing it, right? Like only very few people. But during somebody that has wholesaled from 2007 to 2010, if they have to have made at least $500,000. You have accounting sheets, like folders of it, which I think is stupid. You still have it for the IRS of like all your HUDs from like 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, you had these crazy sheets. Like we have the HUDs. Well, you have the HUDs from back then. Like if your coach, mentor, guru, whatever, and they're talking about what to do in a real estate crash, and they physically haven't wholesaled 2007, 8, 9, 10, have made over $500,000 to millions of dollars, why are you going to listen to them? Like they're talking little garbage.
But like here's a rally. Most of them aren't wholesaling, and to guide you through a declining market with no experience and not actually doing wholesaling, like think about it. That's like hiring the 500-pound guy who says he wants to lose weight to take you to the gym to get you to that journey. You're not going to get there because they haven't experienced it. I'm not saying they're not smart. They don't know what they're doing. I'm just saying it's me. I think if you're not on the wholesaling journey right now, it's hard to take advice. Guys, a lot of advice the last 4 or 5 years was like crazy blitz stuff. And you guys know how all that worked out. I'm not even going to go into detail on it.
Still works now. You just got to change a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I get passionate. I've been in this. I feel like the godfather of wholesaling because I've been doing this. I'm going on 21 years. Do you know how many coaches and mentors I've seen come through this? And by the way, they're all wonderful people. Like it's not a people thing. It's just like, why are we doing it? I get ads to this day on how to be the coach of the coaches. And there's always an argument. It's like, put revenue first, put your students first. Well, dude, you can't do both. And I don't know which one's like more important if you're going to do that. To me, the success of a student is based on getting deals done. The only way you can guide them is if you're doing deals currently in this market. This isn't like a football coach. You can do wholesaling till the day you die, in my opinion. And if you run the business right, you have a team that helps you out doing it. I did it too long. I admit to all of you on that. But my 7 years in the trenches every day is come back tenfold for my ability to be on YouTube here and showing you guys how to do it. I was able to teach him. I made a lot of mistakes when I did it. And I will tell you, the first 3 years I did like marketing products and stuff like that, I didn't know how to teach people to do it. I just said, this is what I do. Do exactly what I do.
All right, can I show you this really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the thing I sometimes like rereading through this book. And guys, this is the godfather of wholesaling. I would call him George Bockel.
Yeah.
Book he built. This is a book from 1972 that he's been wholesaling, I think, since the 30s. I just want you guys to understand like how these gurus don't know, like straight up, like don't buy gurus. So George Bockel in this book, literally, I don't know if you can see it. He's showing you how to dispo your deal on a newspaper in 1972. Look, he has 5 ad copies, right?
Yeah.
How to dispo your deal. How to dispo it. Okay. This is page 102. Also, there's another one. Subject to scripts from 1972. Okay. So here's an example. What to do if the owner has a $50,000 mortgage against it and he's trying to sell it for $200,000. And his depreciation is this, what you're going to do from there. And like, guys, this book's insane, but wholesaling subject twos.
You know what the funny thing is, guys,
crazy.
is when I started in 2003 and 4,
no guru has ever mentioned this book besides us because they've all stolen it.
yeah.
And it's the biggest secret ever. Oh, I hope no one knows this stuff. Guys, they're literally taking books, putting in a course. It's a $15 book, and then they go put it into a $10,000 program. It's insane.
So when I started out in wholesaling in 2003, I remember going, my God, it's so competitive. It's so expensive. I said this in 2003. There's no way I'm 33 going on 34. I've started way too late. It's never going to happen. Okay. Here we are 20 years later. What are you guys saying? You're saying the exact same thing. Remember, the prices in real estate is just relative to the value of today's dollar. In all essence, the value of a property today is the same as in 2003. The only thing that's changed is the scarcity of the deflation or inflation of the US currency, which I'm not going to get in the politics of it. So if you're saying, hey, it's too expensive, it's too saturated, and I can't compete in this. I said this in 2003, and I decided I was going to take a massive amount of action, and the rest is in the history book. So every generation, we have this terrible thing. I've been around long enough to go, everyone thinks they had it harder than the one before. Okay. He's going to say the same thing. I said the same thing about my dad. His kids will say the same thing, and his grandkids will say the same thing. So once you understand, like, you know what? It's just everything's relative to what's going on today. I can't tell you how many times I go, man, I can't imagine prices. Like, we're paying millions of dollars for real estate now that should have only been a couple $100,000. And guys, the only thing that has changed is time. And my message to you, I know I get on these rants, but don't let too much time go in between now and then, because before you know it, you're going to be 52, you're going to be 62, 72. And the only thing you ever talk to someone who's old, their only regret is stuff they didn't do. It's never a regret of what they did. Occasionally, but for the most part, you're going to regret more of what you didn't do as opposed to what you did do.
Yeah, I'll tell you this straight up. I'll give a shout out. Now, Robert Sheeman, we love Robert Sheeman.
Yep.
He sells coaching. I'm never a fan of that, but he sold a book. How much is the book? $30?
He's a very smart man.
$19. You can buy this in 2004 for $19. How to analyze a property, how to find ARV, how to take over subject twos, lease options.
Guys, all
liens,
the information's there for you.
Like, okay, so everyone asks, like, Zach, how did you figure out these special ones? This guy's literally saying how to promote yourself to, you gotta use direct mail. This is like insane stuff. How to go to RIAs for cash buyers. Where was it on here? He talked about, here's a funny one. Tax liens are under this one, right? How to negotiate, where to find deals, like pre-foreclosures. Guys, this is all stuff like no guru talks about because they don't know they don't know this stuff. And we have all it's crazy, but like this information will change your life. I promise you that. But the thing is, I really know these gurus don't know anything, and it's so funny. But yeah, guys, so it's just it's funny, guys. And here's the problem. I want to prove to you guys that I know what I'm doing before I do it, because I did not go through a real estate crash. That's why on Tuesdays, guess what? I cold called live.
Yeah.
I show you, hey, I got a $50,000 price reduction yesterday. No other guru can say that. No other guru clicks the live stream button, closes sellers in front of you without having a crazy, stupid little course or mastermind associated with it to try to sell you on something. And they don't close. These gurus don't close. And these gurus aren't even close to me when it comes to closing sales. I'm not saying that arrogantly, but these gurus can't do it because they don't know how to wholesale. That's it.
Or they don't want to. Because listen, I'm a little bit crazy at 52, and I enjoy the chase of real estate. Like, honestly, I get a little bored when it's under contract and I need people to help me out. But honestly, my favorite thing is to talk about a deal. When you guys come on here and do the one-on-ones, you talk about a deal and I like light up and I tell you, do this, do that, do that, do this. And some of it screws your deal up. And like, we're trying to do an operation after the wound's already like been ripped open, but you learn from it. And then when you go to do it again, you usually do it the right way. And sometimes we can save deals. Sometimes we kill deals. It doesn't matter. I'm here to, dude. I don't know, dude. I'm crazy, dude. I love wholesaling. Like, I need a t-shirt. It doesn't say I love New York. It says I love wholesaling because it's changed my life so much. And every time I've deviated away from like wholesaling, other than, buying assets that pay me, I get bored or I get out of trouble. Like regular business operations, like I appreciate it, but there's nothing like wholesaling.
And I'll say one last thing about my live cold calling, and this is going to cause drama.
Uh-oh.
You better shun your face from this and you get in trouble. But I'll tell you this about the live calls. So I get a couple comments, this guy does recorded calls. Is that the same? I'm not saying, I'm just looking at a comment here, and I've been saying this forever, but some people, I'm not mentioning names, have been exposed for live closing and talking to their friends on the other line of a recorded conversation because it comes out their best friends. Guys, these people that do live calls, they pick the market. They're like, I'm going to cold call in Kentucky today. And they pull a list and they have actors on the other lines and they close them. Some of the people do a live call. They get their phone out. Oh, look, I'm a great closer. Ugh.
Listen, if
They're actors.
If your whole business is based on cold calling,
It's a joke.
and you don't do live cold calling in front of your crowd,
No.
how can you authenticate it?
No. They do a live calling, but they already have the list already pre-called
No,
for them.
You can't
Guys,
do that.
I have the great spinner wheel that randomizes where I'm calling. So I can't fake it. That's the best part. Unless I had 50 fake actors waiting for me to do this crazy thing. But guys, I show you the phone number. You can call the people too. Like, guys, I show you, I'm the only person legitimately cold calling sellers live and closing them in front of you because I am not a stinking broke guru who doesn't know what I'm talking about. Guys, I close in front of you. That's how you know you should talk to me. These broke gurus are scared. This is why.
That's why he's my partner. I don't cold call.
Guys, that's it. And here's the best part. Call Bob says this. I put time.gov. I show the real world clock timer. Other people that I'm live in the comments or they do the fake lives.
Yeah.
Guys, I put time.gov on their thing to prove they're live. I'm live right now. You can't fake that website because you can fake the time.
Yeah.
You can change the clock. You can't change the date. First of all, let's get into this.
And guys, to do cold calling, you have to be fearless. So if you're going to teach that skill, you have to lead by doing it. So many people tell you what to do. The difference with Zach is he actually does it. I don't sit here and BS you and tell you I'm not a cold caller. I'm like a little bit old school. But when I got Zach, I go, man, if you can cold call, you'll make a fortune. And he did it, and he was brought up, and he's fearless on it. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're going to be a leader in the industry, you have to lead your group and just show, if I can do it, you can do it. Telling people what to do, guys, you got to look through that stuff. We are not your parents. We're not here to tell you what to do. We can show you what to do, and you want to follow in the journey, then jump on it. But you got to be fearless. You go like, dude, give me anybody. Let's rip it off. Okay. Calling agents only or this or that. That's like picking and choosing, doing it live.
I'm a real estate agent. And okay, you know what? All right. So you're my son.
Guys,
so
calling a real estate agent it's not wholesaling. Don't get me wrong. There's an avenue for a deal there.
Oh my
it has nothing to deal. It's solely price. What I tell you about price. Price is not a motivating factor in a wholesale deal. That's a market. That's a market condition. So you can't call agents and use a wholesale model to look for motivation.
Here's the problem. When you cold call an agent and you say, I'm also a real estate agent too. Oh, and then they're nice to you because they don't want to get in trouble because you're another real estate agent. Guys, it's a different game when you are an actual just cold calling them without mentioning that and schmoozing them. And then like, I know people that they record an agent or they have their team. They call the agent beforehand. They smooth them over saying, what price are you really at? Okay. Well, let's record this and make you look good. Guys, I know how this game works. I cold call live. I'm not a scared guru. Here's the thing, guys. Here's time.gov. I want to show you. No person has ever pulled up time.gov, randomized where they're calling, and then did it. None of them have. Here's time.gov. This is the biggest flex on a guru. They're stressed. Here's time.gov. You guys have seen it, guys. The rules have changed. We wholesale for real. This is why I called our Facebook group Wholesaling Houses for Real, because I wholesale real estate for real. There's time.gov. These gurus are scared.
How big is that group now?
72,000. It's insane.
72,000.
But it's the most active people in there.
Most active, hands
most
down.
active members in wholesaling. So guys,
fastest growing.
Here's the problem. Here's the last thing I want to go, and then we're going to get to more information. But these gurus watch my cold calls. They watch it. They're like, write that down. Oh my gosh, how did Zach do that? Let's go put it for our next little thing. Guys, I have seen gurus watch our stuff, then put a paid mastermind and say the same exact information. It is hilarious. But I can tell you guys right now,
guys, we just want people to lead by example. If you're gonna sell a cold calling course or anything like that, just go fearless. Help people out. Honestly, I'm willing to help you. I'm not a cold caller. That's why Zach's my partner. He's got a strength. I have a strength, and when when Zach came up, I said, man, if you can cold call, we will really complement the business well. And it worked out very well. So he's never had a fear of cold calling because I just do it. And after you do it, you get a discipline, you get a repertoire, and it's just, it's
I had a fear of cold calling. Here's the truth though. My fear of being broke was so much higher than my fear of cold calling. And that was the truth. The fear of not picking up that phone and going back to that bag boy job was so much scarier than the fear of someone calling me a poopy head over the phone, guys. I've told everyone, I'll say it time and time again. I have been called every name under the book on Xbox Live party chats and on Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. There's nothing you can say to me that I have not heard. I've heard every single bad word possible in middle school from other teenagers. Okay, there's nothing you can say to me. I am unfazed. I'm a rock when it comes to that, okay?
But if he's heard everything in cold calls, the idea is when you do it live, it's to lead you to show you, hey, listen, I'm going to get torn up too, but I got through it. And I got through the other side. Not only did I get through the other side, I got a discount on a deal. And guys, I've only called X amount of people. Imagine if you sat down and called 300, 500, 1,000 people. Yes, you're going to be rough in the beginning. It's going to be scary and you're going to feel uncomfortable. But after a while, you're going to build that muscle. You're going to get deals. And then we're going to build your bank account like a phone number and you're never going to look back. But you need someone who's going to lead by example. So many people are just telling people what to do. And that's not how you help people out. And that's why we've experienced so much growth, because we do this business. We even tell you about our failures, man. Like, I make mistakes all the time.
Here's the thing. When we started this YouTube channel, you know, just sharing what I do. And the one thing is why we make good partners, especially on this channel, is because we both flex on gurus. And that's the honest point. And it's very sad that no one else does that, but we got to do it. So guys, that's the point. That's what we're talking about. Like, we can rant all day how much we hate the gurus, but everyone's like, well, Zach, why do you go bash them so hard? The reason why I bash them so stinking hard is because there is a mentorship mastermind out there. $12,000, 13, 14, 15, 10, 8,000. I'm not going to tell you.
I've seen them go up to 100,000.
Yeah. Let's say
theoretically
there's one for $12,474.30. So I'm not calling somebody out because they'll charge you that much money to learn how to JV with people. To learn how to JV, $12,474.33 and a quarter.
Yeah. To
learn how to JV with somebody. Hey, you have a deal? I have cash buyers.
Yeah.
Here's an agreement. 12 grand right there. Guys, I don't know how I can stress this enough of why I have to flex and bash gurus. If you are going to sell that to learn how to JV, it is ridiculous. Okay. And the information is dog poop. And that's all I can tell you. Oh, you have a non-exclusive JV agreement with me. So you tell me I spent all this time finding a cash buyer for you. And then you're like, no, I'm going to go the highest bidder. That is like signing a non-agreement purchase and sale agreement.
Yeah.
So if I go to a seller and like, here's an agreement, but if I find another wholesaler, I'm just going to go with them. Like, that's not how contracts work, guys. We live in the United States of America. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the Constitution. Guess what? Here's the funniest part. When you have a contract, you have to stick to it. And that's how JV agreements work. It's just hilarious, guys. So why do I bash gurus? Why do I go so hard in the paint on them? Because they start doing stupid stuff like that. It's insane.
So guys, let me give you 2 basic rules to be successful in wholesaling, to avoid a lot of these traps we talk about. Okay. Oh God, let me say that. Number 1, if you're going to a pep rally, AKA seminar,
don't go to one.
You got to understand, they pay for that event. They get everybody super excited. And don't get me wrong, I've been to them too, but like, they're weekend warriors. They're going to get you in. They're not going to be the people who sell you the program. And honestly, if you're going to go with thousands of people for a pep rally, nothing's verified. You can't ask questions. You can't do anything. It doesn't make sense to me. They are catering to the number 1 rule, which is an emotional sale. You can't do like an emotional decisions. It's just not going to work out. So guys, listen, if you feel like you're in a pep rally, get out. I'm just telling you, like I can light a spark under anybody, but the question is, can I deliver and bring you to the promised land? Or are you going to do the work and are you going to be honest with yourself? You are never going to get that in a seminar. I have never gotten it. Honestly, the big giant seminars is the biggest failure ratio in all of wholesaling. Would you agree?
I agree.
Because all they do is sell you the positive, and then at the end of the day, you got to do all the stuff that's hard: cold calling, texting, door knocking, doing marketing, calling sellers, ridiculous follow-up. What software I do? What do I do? And that's where we want to tell you, like, you're missing it. So
That's it.
honestly, it's I would just, and then God forbid, if you ever get on a bus, it has nothing to do with wholesaling. Don't get on a bus, guys. And honestly, if you're getting on a boat ride, a fancy dinner, that is not going to help you be a wholesaler. It's just killing time to help justify the big fee. Guys, when it gets down to the day, we just connect with you straight as point. You don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to get a card. You don't have to pull out your credit card. Let's go through. Let's do a wholesale deal. Let's give you the rules to get the best deal possible. And we want you to do it with little to none of your money. That's what we do. That's what we founded this channel on. And it's never going to change here.
That's it. And honestly, I've never found, we're the only ones that give free real estate content. And here's the saddest part. Now, this is the last guru thing, and then we're getting into more.
Let's help some people out.
But I want every guru, because I have a lot of gurus right now steaming like, I'm so mad. How do you know about the George Bacall book? Oh my gosh. Right? Like, oh my God, how do you know that? Shoot. So here's the thing. I legitimately, when I wholesale real estate, because I've learned from you growing up and my mother, your wife, right?
Yeah.
So like, this is how I grew up.
What are you about to say, dude?
Look at the comment. that reminded me of something.
I'm telling you guys,
I don't mention
if you get on a bus and go to Home Depot or Lowe's, run, because you are a designer. You're not even a wholesale. Like, that's if you got to figure out what to buy toilets for, you are not a wholesaler. I am sorry, man. I don't understand bus tours.
All right, so
it triggers me. A bus.
So let me tell you.
If I get on a boat, I'm going fishing. I'm
agree.
going to have fun. But like a boat ride, when I land on wholesaling, not like, what do you? Oh, you're trying to kill time. I get it,
Eduardo. I don't know who you're talking about. So I tell you, when I wholesale real estate, and this is the one thing I always tell everyone, I want everyone to understand this when I say this. When I wholesale a house from an old lady or an older guy or gal or somebody in a situation or financial hardship, I do what's best for me. I do what's best for the other person. I make sure it's a win-win. I always do something that I always feel good and I can sleep at night knowing I'm doing the right thing. And I've always grew up like that. And that's the way I always am in life. And that's why I'm teaching you guys. Always do the right thing. Always do what's correct. Do always think that's right. And even if it's going to lose you money, you got to do it right. Here's the truth. I cannot consciously go to you right now after making millions of dollars in wholesaling real estate and I feel dirty and greedy if I'm going to tell you, you know what? I'm going to charge you for this information. This information has changed my life. And I know if I charged for it, I would have stopped hundreds of thousands of people from financially changing their life. I would have stopped all of them. It would have been extremely selfish for me to do that. It would have been probably super disgraceful. It would have been the worst thing ever. It'd be how can I say, disservice to not give it out for free. So what I mean by this is, guys, I don't understand why any guru does. This is my last guru rant, but I don't know how somebody can tell you right now that I have the key to help change your life. I can help you if you're a single mom, a single dad, you're struggling, you have a disability, you live somewhere where you're growing up poor and you have to change your life and you don't feel safe, your mom's not taken care of. How can you know there's people out there like that and you know you have what to help them out and you don't want to do it? It's literally somebody comes up to you. Like, let's say, all right, this is more of an example, but like if a 12-year-old boy comes up to you dying of dehydration and you have a water bottle and they're like, please, I need this water. I will die without it. And you say, do you have $3? Because if you don't give me $3, you're not getting this water bottle. Right? And then you just hoard the water bottle to yourself. I don't know why people do that. And that's what guru coaching is. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, but listen,
guys, they need that to survive. I would be like, wait, I have 10 gallons of water at home.
Yeah.
Me making money. Why do I have to charge you this water? Here, take the water, right? That is what we want to do. I want to let everybody know, stop selling coaching. Like, okay, I'll say this. And here's the last part.
Okay.
I'm calling out these gurus. I'm a little spicy today with this. These gurus that always preach, religion, doing the right thing, all this stuff, you have to have an abundance mindset.
A lot of Bible quotes in wholesaling lately.
Guys, you have to do what's right. So if you have people right now that are struggling right now, you can change their life and help them. Do what you have been like, guys, you are on this earth for something, right? And if you know you have something, you have all this money, you don't need to be greedy. Help the people out. I'm begging these gurus to stop. That's it, guys.
Let's go. Let's move on.
You have to help the people out.
Yeah, guys, it's we're making a movement, and people who know me 20 years, almost every guru will tell you, I always go against the grain, man. So if everyone's going this way, I'm going the other way. I'm told I'm nuts for what I'm doing. I don't care. The reality is all this information is floating out on the internet anyways. You just got to find a safe place of people you trust and are authentic that will actually show you what they do in their business today. And that's our place right here at freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach, we're a family business. We're not the biggest, but I tell you, I promise you, nobody has more fun than me and this guy wholesaling. It's like, and guys, what better way to tie in? Like I work with my son in my business. Like I couldn't have wrote the script. I had the intentions for it, but I never for it. I always thought Zach would do something else. But the difference is Zach, instead of me telling him what to do, he watched what I did and the journey I led. And he's like, I want to do it like you do, Dad. Like, you've been to every sporting event. You've been to every school function I've had. You've gone to every play. Like, why would I do something different? And I, as a father, you ready for this? I thought wholesaling was too hard on him. And that was my thinking when I was younger and I was a new wholesaler.
Well, I have a question for you.
Nobody's tougher than your own kids.
I have a question. When I got my first deal, made $20K at 17.
Yeah.
You taught me basically for free. Did you ask for $5,000? No, right? You taught me for free because you know it's the right thing to do. So when I want to teach you guys for free, I'm not asking for money.
And that's the difference. So you have to lead by example. And so if, like, I get people all the time, hey, how do I get my kids involved? Do it. Just show them your lifestyle. So many of us are preached down. We have enough preachers. We have enough lecturers. God knows we have too many professors. We need people that are just going to lead by example and just do it. And although people will make fun of you, it's uncomfortable. You break 95% of the norm patterns. When you get to that journey of success, I guarantee you, from my personal experience, they'll all want to join in on your journey. And that's why we're here. So the information's out there. Find people you can trust that can organize it, that actually do the business. For wholesaling, it makes no sense to even pay for it anymore. It's just the truth. When I started, I didn't have a choice. And I hired a lot of really bad actors. And unfortunately, there's more bad actors today than ever. So guys, find someone you trust and stick with. If it's me and Zach, great. And we want to help you out in the journey. So I apologize for like a long rant, but like I want you to understand the journey where I've kind of come from and how we're thinking is for me to create a legacy. If I can teach 100,000 people how to make 100 grand, it's going to have far more impact if I sit here and nickel and dime you guys $3,000 and $5,000 for what? 2,000 or 3,000, 10,000 students along the way. I can have we all talk about 10X. I give Grant Cardone credit for it. I'm thinking way outside the box. The more I give, the more I'm going to receive in the long run. If I minimize myself to go, okay, you can only work with me if you pay me this, forget it, guys. I do fine in my business. This is an experiment. I'm having a lot of fun. You guys are enjoying the content. I'm having a blast with my son. So let's get it, guys. Let's talk about wholesaling. Let's jump into it. I'm passionate about this. I love doing this.
And we can't contain our passion for this business.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
It's crazy. I never got into wholesaling for the money. Not ever once. It was a side effect. I did it for time. Time to me is the most important thing. As you guys get older, you realize it's even more important. So the sooner you find it out. So if you're 17, you're 16. I'm telling you, man, you can get a 15 to 17 year head start on me. I didn't start till at 33, 34. And if you're thinking, well, I'm in my 60s, who cares? Like 2 years, guys, 2 years. And I'm not talking about physical hard labor. You got to use your mind. You got to learn to talk to people. And by the way, wholesaling has nothing to do with selling. It has you're not selling like ninja knives. You ever go to like those shows where they do the knives? I love it.
So it is the top of the hour. So what we're doing right now is we're doing one quick segment. And I always like doing this segment where would you rather? So my question for you guys today is, would you rather have a $32,000 check or a $50,000 check?
$50K.
Let me know in the comments which check you would rather have. Can they vote?
What are we doing this?
I don't know. I thought that would help.
No, let's talk about
Guys,
wholesaling.
all right, let's talk about. So here's one thing I want to tell you guys. I think you guys should look at this. So what are some ways what's going to be the key for a downturn in wholesaling, right? Like, so let's talk about what we're doing, because I think that's the best way to understand. Like, I could tell you something is what my actions are, right? So what are we doing, right? Number one, we're lowballing more and we're going after hotter lists. And the truth is, like, we're used to pulling the pre-foreclosures every month and the code violations. Those lists are creeping up, and they're going to keep creeping up for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
So just understand, guys, that like lowballing and hitting hotter lists, like, it's just, I like keeping it simple, because I don't know if I'm dumb or something, but like, I like to keep things really simple.
But guys, keep it in mind,
It's the truth.
If you're not lucky enough to take a bus tour to a big box repair store like Home Depot, just like, even in the Home Depot, the few times I got to go by to pick up like something, dude, the store is empty compared to a year ago. I mean, it's like night and day. People are not spending money on their houses, and this is going to have a catapultic effect. Not only there, I'm not talking about upgrades. So most of these box stores are to maintain the house, change filters, paint, primer, sanding, like fundamental stuff, pressure cleaners, everything's being cut back. Their inventory is loading up. Guys, go to Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't know any stocks in them. Dude, the shelves are stocked to the T. So people are pulling back. And remember, when people stop working on their houses, it only gets worse. So if you're not lucky enough to get on a bus tour, understand that people, when the economy shrinks, people cut back. Not only are they not upgrading their house, they're not taking care of it. Have you seen the cost of fertilizer these days? You know, you're going to see a lot more brown lawns. You're going to see the weeds come in. And guys, you know, buying a new lawnmower is not a couple $100 fix anymore. It's a $500 or $600 fix. And the average homeowner that's feeling the pinch of the economy and inflation and gas prices, they're going to have to make sacrifices. And unfortunately, the houses are probably going to take the biggest hit over the next. Listen, I don't know the time frame. That's the thing you got to understand. People will tell you, oh, it's going to be this year, that. We're all guessing. It's a guarantee this last quarter in 2023 is going to be a hiccup. The question is how much further we're going along. I can't tell you until we get through it, guys.
Exactly. So I have a quick comment. I will go answer this really quick because this will be the last one. Top of the hour, guys. Steve, if you don't know the joke, then the joke
just playing with you.
Joke went over your head there, but guys, I always share the time.gov. You know,
it's
we're
live.
always live.
It's live.
We're always live. So what's the next one here? I think this is a really important concept that.
Does anyone do more lives than us?
Probably. I don't know.
I'm talking about wholesaling.
I don't know.
I like talking to people live because you get like a real interaction. We're not filtering it. It's not sit here and cut.
So So the next part here is
no teleprompter either.
True. The approach is, what approach should you be doing in your wholesaling, right? So like, I think the most important part is like, everyone talks about what to do, how to do, but like no one really talks about how to spend your time. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because when I say the rules have changed, the rules have changed of how much time you're going to be spending on these things. So what do I mean by this, right? 2022, most people are doing a 70-30 approach. That's what pretty much everyone's done past 5, 7, 8 years, where you spend about 70% of your efforts. Even might be 70, 20, 10, but like even 70% of your efforts are being spent on marketing, finding sellers, finding deals.
Mm-hmm.
And 30% of your time has been focused on finding cash buyers. Most people aren't even doing the 30. They're at like 10, right? It's been really unemphasized the past decade, honestly, right?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a trend, and
I think it's been like 98 too.
Yeah, it's insane.
98
right?
on sellers and then 2% on cash buyers.
But
it's
using this,
4 or 5 years for sure.
I agree. So using this trend line now for 2023, you're probably looking at a 60-40. You're probably going to have to increase, take away 10% from marketing, add 10% on cash buyers if you're struggling with it. Really, with today's technology, you don't even have to do that. But I'm seeing more people are going to have to spend time. The more the real estate goes down, the more time you have to spend with cash buyers because it's easier to find deals. And so 2024, if things get really bad,
and we don't know that for
I
sure.
don't think so. I'm just giving you an FYI. If 2024 gets really bad, you might even be at a 50-50. Now, that was even like the worst of the worst in 2009, 10, 11,
I've been
right?
in the 50-50, guys. You don't think
you
it
don't want to
happens?
be in the 50-50.
I'm telling you, I spent more time getting cash buyers. I didn't get a deal because I couldn't stop the phone from ringing. So I know you're like, that's crazy. There's no way. I'm telling you, man, it happens. You have to make shifts. And when you guys, if you're just brand new to the business, you're definitely going to be spending a lot of time on the cash buyers because they've kind of changed the rules. They're demanding the big discounts. And ultimately, that's who our customers are. It's not that we're happy about it, but it's the reality of what's going on. But you'll get more proficient as you do it and you figure it out. And the minute you figure it out, it's going to change. Change is the one thing that's guaranteed in life. And there's no different in wholesaling. Why anybody thinks wholesaling is just going to be perfect. You go up 1%, down 1%. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a free market because I believe the government drives the mortgage part of it, but thank God they do, or we'd have to do 100% cash buyers.
Yeah, it'd
be a lot lower prices. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah. So guys, I don't think we're in 50-50 or we're probably not going to be, but just understand if things do get bad, you're probably going to be at the 50-50 approach. No one will explain this. No one will share this information. I just feel good if you guys know that, if, we ever disappear, you at least have this information, which won't happen. But, just FYI, these gurus, you never know what they try. They tried cutting out our internet, I bet. So they're nuts.
Somebody asked if we invest in. Oh, by the way, we have never talked about anything other than real estate.
Guys,
period.
This is a real estate wholesaling channel. I mean, I'll be honest. You guys are watching probably from one of our 4 YouTube channels. So we are currently live on like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're live from 8 different types of channels and social medias.
Yeah.
So we have a lot. So there is some stuff like the Rick Ginn channel, the Zach Ginn, our personal channels. We might talk a little more about personal finance, but Flip with Rick, it's a wholesaling real estate channel.
You know why? Because I'm a rookie, just like you guys are trying to figure it out. And it's hard to invest in assets.
Not a rookie, but like
I listen, if I don't feel I'm an expert in it, I'm not going to tell you how to do it.
We know how to make millions of dollars in wholesaling, and that's what we talk about. So what we're going to do right now is answer some questions, do some one-on-one calls, and that's what we want to do.
Let's go.
So let's break this down. Let's share it, and let's get it going. But the number one question before we do some calls is like, how do you hop on? How do you talk to us? Oh, that's how you pay. You have to pay $1,000 just to talk to it. No, guys, it's absolutely for free. Don't worry. All you got to do is join the Mastermind. So it's Wholesaling House for Real Facebook group. That's pretty much it. Nothing crazy, right? All you got to do, go to right here, Wholesaling Houses for Real. Once you're in the group, all you got to do on the pinned feature, I pinned this 4 hours ago, so everyone had plenty of time to hop on. Click this. Go to the YouTube channel if you want to watch it. Join. Here's the StreamYard link. That's how you hop on. Talk to me.
You got a headache there, or what's going on?
I was stressed because these gurus are just ruining people.
Let's help some people out.
It's annoying. It's stressful. So let's break this down and let's get it going. So first person on here, we have Joel. All right. Bye, Joel. Candace. Joel hopped off, so it wasn't us.
Hello.
Hey, Candace.
Hi. I just dropped on. I'm pretty late to the party, but I'm
it's okay.
Updating you about that property that I had in Fort Walton, and as you mentioned before, on a pre-foreclosure, it can get quite messy, and it did this time.
Oh yeah.
The police called me when I, you advised me to get the keys, to change the keys with the locksmith.
Correct.
Then we found out that the tenant, somebody in there, at the moment.
Well, you got to find that information out because that's going to kill that part of the deal.
Well, he's not a tenant. He's not a tenant, but I think
the squatter.
The seller did know. Yeah, it's like a friend of a. Oh Lord, it's just so messy. But I think she's an ex-husband of a friend of hers.
I got it. I believe you told me it was vacant at the time. That's why I gave you that instruction. So
yeah.
Still good advice.
And so,
so where are you at with
that? So I'm just trying to. Well, I've got pictures. I gained access to get pictures at that time, but now he's kind of holding the property hostage for me to get
how
access
is he holding it hostage exactly?
He's like, I'm not gonna allow. He's like, because I'm saying, when are you available so I can get access and can see the property again? And he's saying, well, I'm not comfortable with you being in the property because he wants help moving. I said I might help him move and put towards closing, not the cost to move. He said till I do that, he wants.
What's the seller say about this tenant? Nothing.
Pardon? What does the seller say?
Yeah, about the person living in the property.
Yeah, she says that they will be moving, or she just gave me his contacts for him to go. She said she wasn't aware that he was in. He needs to go. He's wrecked the property as well, which and left the property in a not good condition as she left it.
So when's he supposed to be out of the property?
Well, he said he might be able to find something in the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, like, don't hold your breath because it's hard to beat a deal when you're living somewhere for free.
Yeah.
So it's I would tell you to give them the space, but you really don't have any leverage to get them out there. So you're going to have to work with the seller to hopefully they have something that can incentivize them to get out of the property. Sometimes they even have to pay them, but there's not a lot you're going to be able to do in that situation because the stronger you push on it, the more he's going to resist. So I would just try to work with the seller. You got to get that guy out of your hair. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just the truth, you know, but this should open up the door for you to have to renegotiate because as time goes by, that value's not going up and the tenant's probably getting rougher and rougher on the property. So really, if you have a contract on the property right now? I do.
Okay.
I would really consider a reinspection. So I would tell the seller, listen, if he's not out of there in the next 30 days, we're going to have to talk about a price reduction. We're going to have to talk about the offer on this. I would reinspect it no matter what. And I would definitely go for a discount because he's going to leave you, not technically you, but he's going to leave you a mess for your end buyers, the cash buyer, to clean up. Cement down the toilet. They scratch everything. They destroy everything. They leave bugs in there. And I'm just telling you, you have a green ticket light in a downward market. You have a hostile tenant and an owner that doesn't really want to care and get rid of it. I would 100%, not 99, 100% go for another price reduction on this. And then you need to be a cheerleader for the seller. Just report back to them, tell them what's going on without intervening. And they go, listen, he's still there. She goes, no. He said he's putting a moving truck this weekend. I go, listen, I went by there on Friday and I went by there Monday. There's still no moving truck. And the longer it drags on, it could work out in your favor. And she might have to do a formal eviction on it. So do you know how long the guy's been in the property for?
I'm not 100%, but definitely he was saying that her ex-husband, the seller's ex-husband, has been delivering pizza for him for like a year. So,
oh, Lord. Okay, well, work with the seller and listen, just be their cheerleader and be the reporter, but don't get involved with this tenant because you're just going to aggravate him. It never goes well. And then when it comes time and they do get out of there, just tell the seller, like, listen, if he keeps living and wearing out the property, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do a deal on this thing, or we're going to have to reduce it. And it might light a fire on them to try to get them out of the property. And like, so they want to use, they have to use non-traditional methods, guilt, threats, even if they're empty threats. Because right now you're explaining a squatter, which is a pain in the butt. So worst case scenario, say, listen, just give the guy $500 to get out of there. Because the reality is he's not going to find a place he's going to be able to live in for free. So I don't think he's going to get out in 2 weeks. But so promise me, Candace, when you go back and the guy gets out of there, that you are going to ask for a serious price reduction. You understand that?
I will. I already have actually.
He's going to leave a lot of surprises behind, and you're going to have a lot of room in that price. Okay. And by then, the seller's going to want to get rid of the property no matter what. They don't want to go through it again. And your emotional trauma going through this has to have a price. And don't be scared to ask for 20, 30 grand. It's not uncommon.
Right.
Okay. And then go out and find other motivated sellers.
So I didn't say that again.
While you're waiting for this deal to simmer, go out and find other motivated sellers. Like, don't hang your hat on it. It will come to fruition, but listen, if it takes 3 months, you have to have a price reduction. You have to promise me that, okay? And I want everybody to know on this live, if you have a contract that's dragging in like a similar situation, you have to go for price reductions because it's only going down in value. And if you have a tenant beating it up, not paying, I promise you they're killing the value as well too. Agree? So
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for that. I've got one more though.
okay.
A piece of advice I need. I've got a next property that I am looking to put under contract. Sorry, my daughter is
She's melting. She must have talked to a guru.
I'm like, can you please be quiet? It's like she's getting louder as I'm telling you.
It's okay. I have kids too. They cry well into adulthood.
We're nowhere without mother,
so I've got this.
We love it.
Yes, I'm multitasking here. What was I going to say? Yes, so I've got. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I've got this property that I wanted to go into contract on. It seems like a really good deal, but he wants to use an escrow agent. He's sent me the contract now, and he's his own contract as well, which he said has been drawn up by an attorney. Okay. Yeah. So, how do I go about it? Because I don't know who this escrow agent is. I've tried to Google the name, and
okay. So I'll give you a real quick here. If it's a licensed and insured escrow agent, and you can verify like they have an office and they're not in a home, and as long as you can get a receipt, I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. Number two, the bigger thing is changing the contract. Remember, most motivated sellers don't want to change the contract. So every now and then we have to adapt if we have a really good deal. You're saying really good deal. So I'm working with you here. Is I can use any contract you want as long as, number one, it's assignable and I control the closing title company. Okay. Because in theory, as long as you have a assignable contract and you have some sort of inspection clause in it, and the end buyer's getting clear and free title, and your escrow's fined clearly, and it's like legal, and you have a receipt, who cares? The odds are low, as sometimes that contract is written so one-sided. It's like, give me a break. Like, so you want to be
12 pages. I'm trying to get through it right now to see.
12 pages. It's going to be like a standard realtor contract. So just look through the contract. I wouldn't say no, just look through it. And then if it's so in left field, go, listen, I'm just not comfortable doing that. If your house isn't a good fit, I just, I got a couple other houses that I can move my money towards. So it just, guys, listen, sometimes you just can't negotiate. The problem is when you do this in the beginning and you're inexperienced, I tell you to stick to your core contracts unless it's a probate, because you have a lawyer review it. So you're going to have to make that decision with it. I'd at least look at the contract, but if it's very clearly non-assignable, that means you can't do an assignment of contract. You'd have to do a double close. And attorneys like to get really cute with their language on it. At the end of the day, if they want to sell the property and they're motivated, they'll usually comply with you. So just, I would ask again, kindly, you're comfortable with your contract. You've already vetted it with your lawyer. And since you're paying for the property, you usually pretty much dictate what's going to go. Because remember, you're not paying an attorney.
Right.
He or she wants to pay an attorney. It's on them. But you got to represent your rights too. You can't just roll over, Now, listen, the cheaper it gets, the more willing you are to sacrifice on stuff like that. But I would try to stick to your guns, and in worst case, look at the contract and see if it's not assignable, it's a no-go.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find, the language in there. I haven't seen it yet, and he seems pretty like the inspection period. He's giving me inspection period. He said I can cancel at any time, and it will be fully refundable.
Okay, well then don't make it an issue right now.
Yeah, it's just, is the escrow agent separate? They work differently to the title company.
Just ask for their license and insurance information. That's black and white. They got to have it, otherwise you don't send it to them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool, thank you so much, Zach.
Okay, Candace. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Next year we got Vince. Vince is very patient. Vince, what is up?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Vince. How you doing, man?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
No food tonight?
Nah, man, I had Chipotle today, so we good.
This guy's, oh man, I like
he was eating
Chipotle.
last time.
I was thinking
hungry.
about that.
You got me
Dude.
hungry last week.
Fired up, man. I can look at this. I can see what he's eating, man.
What's up, man? How can we help you out?
How y'all doing? So,
Good,
man,
man.
it's,
Blessed.
we remember the property last time I was telling you about with the old lady.
Yeah.
We went there today. I have a partner, so basically he's like a licensed contractor, and so I like split it 70-30 with him to come in, basically the bad guy. And oh my goodness, bro, she was not trying to hear it this morning. She was like, "Oh well, you don't have to do much for that." You know, I'm like, I'm saying her name, like, hey, like this guy gets paid for renovating houses, like he knows what he's talking about, like.
Yeah.
So I'm breaking that down to her, and I told her like, hey, you know, you may not get the price you want, but my biggest thing is just, you know, showing you details of what we're gonna have to do to put into the property to make it look, you know, the curb appeal and the attractiveness to get a family in here. And what I told her was, I'm definitely afraid of. Remember, I told her about the realtor guy that she's working with.
Oh yeah.
So I told her I'm be so transparent. I'm really afraid that I'm gonna give you a number, and he's gonna go and find buyers to override my number and take the deal. And she's like, oh no, he's not. I haven't asked him. You know, he's an honest guy. He's a Canadian. He's an honest guy. And I'm saying, okay, but I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. So if I lose the deal, it's nothing personal. Just be transparent with me. What's going on?
Yeah.
And so my biggest thing is like, you know, how do I move forward? Do I give her the number? Because he's probably have everything going for by Friday at least to give me like a ballpark range where I can give her a number and see what she says.
Well, he's the expert. Let him come up with the number. Like your number is just going to either discount you right away or they're going to counter with another buyer. How did your meeting? Did you have that 3-way meeting?
It was basically they thought I was gonna have my number ready.
Yeah.
So that's.
I always say, listen, you're the expert. Why don't you tell me? Like he's just trying to get information out of you. And the minute he gets your number, he's done with you. He's going to discount you and he's going to convince her you don't need to work with him. It's just the truth, dude. I've been through this hundreds of times, by the way. The exact same scenario.
So basically I should just abort the mission. I'm, you know what I mean? Like not trying to be like negative, you know, but just to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're being honest, but like honestly, this property is not going anywhere, and you need what we call time and circumstance. So, you know, I hope she lives a long, healthy life. So I'm not going to wish anything like that. But as time goes by, there's going to be less buyers, and the interest rates are only going to go up higher. And on these higher end properties, they become a real challenge to find in buyers, and the real cash buyers are going to beat the price down. So you do not want to set the price on this. Like you're on a fishing expedition. You just need to go find other motivated tellers of the truth and just let it simmer. The reality in wholesaling is, I know you want the property real bad, Vince. I want you to have it. But on the outside, you have to be, who's a really cool guy we relate to now? What's his name? Who's the guy in all the Lincoln commercials?
Matt McConaughey.
You got to do the Matthew McConaughey. Hey, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. Like I just don't need it anymore. Like you have to be pulling back, because if you chase too hard, they're gonna smell it, and it's gonna be a problem. I'm telling you, you're gonna come back to this deal in 3 months, and you're gonna thank me later, because the price is gonna drop 50, 100 grand on it. I'm just these are sticky types of properties. You have an older person that's relying on a real estate agent, and by the way, if you want to, you can pull him up and look at his listings and see if he deals in these types of properties and see, like, is his stuff rotting on the market? It probably is. Most of the realtors around me, the high end stuff, like 600 and 700 IR, they can't give them away. Well, I'm seeing $100,000 reductions right now. They don't know how to price them, because there's not a lot of cash buyers out there to buy those types of properties. So honestly, this is the one time I'm going to tell you, I always tell you, make an offer. I would wait, man, because your goal is to assign the property, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so unless you're going to be a cash guy who wants to sit on it a couple of years, you're going to be stuck. And honestly, even if that was your strategy, I'd tell you to wait 3 months. I'm telling you guys, in 3 months, you're going to be in shock what's going on in this market, because the Real estate takes a long time. The residual effects of high interest rates, less buyers, and higher inventory, it's going to get very cutthroat, meaning there's going to be more people trying to sell their houses than there are buyers. And that's when you reap the ultimate rewards. But honestly, Vince, when the price drops, you're still going to have the same issues to a point. You're just going to be at a lower price range. The motivation is going to be higher because she's sitting there in a property that's doing nothing but costing her money.
Yeah. My thing is, so I should just, I don't know. I don't want to just be like a ghoster, but
it's not ghoster. Just say, listen, let me know when you're extremely serious about selling it. If the real estate agent could have solved it, he or she would have solved it by now.
Rick, okay? That's what I told her.
A good real estate agent goes, listen, you need to sell it for, $550. I have cash buyers lined up. And if not, I'll put it on the market and find one for you. It doesn't even make sense what he's doing.
Rick, that's what I told her.
They're all playing poker. They're all seeing who's going to throw out the number first. It ain't going to be you.
Nope. And that's what I told her. I said, I don't care how honest he is. If a deal is a deal, no one's gonna leave food on the table. No. Not in this field.
It just needs time, and this is the follow-up part of wholesaling. But because it's in the higher price range, and because we're wholesalers, I don't want you to risk writing a contract that you can't fulfill, because then you're going to get this agent involved, and they're going to come after you, and you don't need that. You need to go, listen, Vince. No one's made me an offer on the property. Let the agent sit 3 months after. Don't you agree if the agent doesn't do anything in 3 months, he's probably never going to do anything, right?
Right.
So ride it out. Just ride it out. But listen, I got lots of other properties to look at. If the agent can come up with a number for you, let me know. You guys call me back. And once they start calling you, then motivation is increasing. You got to wait till it gets painful, though. And that's the reality of this business.
So basically just say, hey, just put it back in the agent's ballpark. I feel like he's more knowledgeable. He could be a better expert with you.
Listen, the market's pulling back. There's less and less buyers. And with these interest rates keep increasing, this is becoming a challenging property. And you need to have the agent, number one, agree to you. And then he needs to start pressing the urgency on the seller. And that's when the seller will okay, I got to get rid of this. So you got to get them the agent has to be completely solved and out of the picture for you to even have a shot at a good deal on this.
Would you advise me doing a three-way call again?
No, I'd avoid it.
Okay. All right. And then
listen, Vince, you need to respect the agent because she views him as trustworthy.
Yeah.
But you can't, he's not, you didn't hire him. You can't rely on his number because he's in the retail world. You're in the wholesale world. And so you have to just wear him out. I'm just telling you, he's guarding her. He's protecting her. But the reality is he's hurting her. So just wait till it gets a little bit cheaper. And then, as I told you, do a reverse cash buyer situation. Find a cash buyer without revealing the property address. Start marketing for people who want to do a bigger project in the higher price range and find out what they would pay for it. And then that can help you structure a number. But as long as this guy's in the way, he's going to take your number and try to find a buyer that'll pay it so he can collect his 3 to 5% off of it. I guarantee that's what his strategy is.
That's what I've been doing on my end.
Yeah, you can't make an offer on that property until you know what a buyer is going to pay for it. Otherwise, you're at grave risk. I don't want anybody running contracts and guessing. When you go in the lower price properties, it's easy because it's predictable. When you get these higher ones in a declining market on a property like this, you need to know what someone would pay for it. Mm-hmm. So you got to go out and just play around with cash buyers. Listen, hey, if we're over in this neighborhood, those houses, 3,000-4,000 square feet, needs about $50K worth of work. What do you think is the most you could pay for something like that if I could just hand deliver you a deal? Go out and find people and make those offers. Or take pictures without showing the address and stuff like that. You got to spend more time on the cash buyer, like Zach was telling you early, that 60-40. This is where that 40% is coming into play. You got to shift and do that. Once you have that data, then you can more confidently approach. And when the realtor melts on you, I don't know what to do, and the seller goes, okay, Vince, I'm ready for an offer. That's when you can strike, and then we can teach you how to massage that offer in there. But right now, you're still fishing, and I don't want them to leverage your offer for a cash buyer's agent.
Okay,
I agree.
One more question. A long time ago, you were saying about some psychology books to read. We spoke about it was about 2-3 months ago. Just basically dealing with sellers and it was some books you were recommending, but I never asked you. You said like read on some psychology books that would help you, especially in wholesaling.
Well, most of the psychology is going to be working on ourselves. Okay. Because I can't control what sellers say. If you haven't figured out by Vince now, like people say crazy stuff and you can't control it. You can only kind of prepare for it. So you have to prepare your psychology where like nothing phases or bothers you. And you have to learn how to play with you. So if you want to just start in general, just start with a simple, like Tony Robbins, UPW. He has a strategy where he teaches you how to dance with people as opposed to fight with people. That's what you got. That's what we all do in wholesaling. We dance.
I like YouTube videos instead, but that's just
so
I've read that
YouTube,
book,
but
like 4 times.
It's like dancing with sellers. The minute you fight with a seller, you're done. So instead of like fighting with him, but here's the difference. Now, I'm not a good dancer. I'm like pretty bad. I just got out of a wedding and I got another one to go to. And my wife's like trying to tell me like, I need to get some lessons, which I do.
She didn't say that.
She did. She
did not say that.
But anyways, but so if you've ever danced, you have to lead. Like someone always leads. You ever notice when you dance with someone, if like this guy's doing the shuffle, you do it. Even on a slow dance, you got to lead your lady, or like,
right.
You don't want your lady leading you. It looks a little funny. Like you have to lead the sellers and you got to learn to dance. So many people in wholesaling, they fight. And so any book that's going to teach you like how to engage, but Zach's right. YouTube videos are powerful. It's how they connected with us. So just kind of play around with the terminology, just research who you're getting your information for. And I see so many videos about pure confidence. This is what you need to like dominate any kind. No, you need to like embrace a conversation where they feel it's a win-win. So find a book, a material, a podcast, or a YouTube video, and learn how to dance with people, because people throw crazy stuff. You just got to figure out how to pivot and go, oh, well, and then the art of storytelling and stuff like that will help you out. But it's your psyche. Yeah. You always work on first. You're never going to be able to fix sellers.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Thank y'all so much for the time, as always.
Appreciate it. Okay, Vince.
Take care.
Thanks,
okay, see ya.
Boom.
Man, I literally could like cite a deal. So many deals I've had just like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's just interesting. And that's how you kind of get out of wholesaling when you start doing that. You just got to wait people out, especially in this market. It's perfect for this market because time and circumstance is going to change on that deal. Nobody wants to reach for it and pay that high price.
You never want to. But quick questions. We'll get another call in. Let's see here. I want to answer this really quick. Said I know Pat. So I just want you guys to understand, don't feel bad. So lady's screaming at you that her spouse passed away and I should feel bad about myself. Guys, when you're calling, like you're just calling a big list. You don't specifically know that. And like, don't let anybody make you feel bad for anything, because one person being mad at you is another person's like saving grace of you answering them. So like I just letting everybody understand that.
Listen, guys, when you call people, you're going to catch people in funny moments. I've had people where we've called them. I've been completely screamed at, even on bandit signs. And then sometimes they call you back the next day and go, listen, I was just in a bad place yesterday. I had something really funky happen to me. I didn't mean to take it out.
People have crazy days.
And keep in mind, sometimes when they're calling you or you're even calling them because of a special list, there's a probability there could be something going on in their life. So you always want to leave the door open. So if you get in like a tissy with them and start fighting with them, if you kill people with kindness, you don't have to worry about if that door opens or closes on you. So when somebody lights you up, just go like this. Hey, it was an opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity. I have a lot of gratitude for it. And I hope you have a blessed day, and end it. Because what if they call you back an hour later and go, I was just testing you to see if you're a nice person. People do strange things. So don't let someone's mood dictate your mood. You're the only person that can make yourself happy. Don't ever let it be contingent on a seller. Honestly, guys, and do not put your ego on if you do a deal or not. You know how I feel about ego. You have to kill it. It's your selfish inner being that always wants you to be right. And ego is the number one thing that kills people in wholesaling. Actually, I teach you how to use people's ego so you can better your business.
Every guru's got big ego, though. I'll
Egos
tell you guys,
terrible, man.
Realize, like, when you pass away, you're all in the same like square box, right? Like,
that's it. You're not taking it with
you're not better than somebody else. You're not taking that money with you.
Yeah, like you're not taking the money.
So guys, it's like FYI, like how many deals or money you make doesn't make you a man or woman. Like it doesn't really.
It's just it's
It
a little
helps.
bit of a scorecard, and
It
it'll
helps.
help people out. But like honestly, I would never want to do a business where
Yeah.
I had to ignore my children. I didn't spend any time with my wife, and I got super unhealthy and picked up bad habits, but I'm super rich. There's not enough money in the world for me to fix that. Like, honestly, we all want like endless wealth, but are you willing to give up your health, your family, everything? I'm not. To me,
not.
that's just not worth money. And honestly, that's never what we've been about in wholesaling. I don't think anybody really is.
No, guys, that's why we do what we do. I just rather help people out than not. But yeah, so who we got on? Joel.
Joel's
Yeah.
back.
I think he's
Yeah,
back.
I'm back. Yes,
What's
yes.
up, man?
There he is,
Sorry.
man.
I'm cooking.
He's cooking. What you making there?
Brussels sprouts, rice and beans.
Nice.
You
My
name
wife's big on the Brussels sprouts thing, man. Those things
They're
stink when you cook them, man.
They're okay.
Yeah, they do.
All right.
They stink really bad.
They
I'm
must
not gonna
taste
lie.
good because the
They
girls
taste
eat them like
good. I like them.
I don't know, man. I'm really bad with vegetables.
I
I'm
know,
not
you-
even
you're-
like
you're
I
really
should eat
bad.
them, but like
If you want to try it for the first time, you want to try the ones from the BJ's Brewery restaurant.
yeah.
It's the
You've
best
had
one.
Brussels.
Joel, you're killing me because my wife's listening to
already
this.
had
She's
Bru-
going to make me eat this stuff. They're
You've
like,
already eat
Joel
Brussels
told
sprouts.
you.
They're fine.
I'm not a big fan of them. You cover them in
I'm
cheese,
Joel,
sorry.
just stop talking about it because
cover
unless
'em in
you
cheese and salt.
unless you put on cheese and salt and butter, he ain't gonna eat it. So and
I'm bad,
bacon.
dude. Like I'm the first man. I eat good, but like it's like
You eat good. You
I've
just
struggled with the
You
greens.
know portion control. That's pretty much it.
That's the hardest part.
I'm a truck driver
All
at
right.
a buffet.
Joel, how can we help you out?
So, Sunday I was driving for dollars, right? And I found a house that was for sale by a realtor. I called the realtor. She gave me a price. It was like $380 something. But I was actually looking for vacant houses. The house right next to it is vacant, looking, I wouldn't say destroyed. It just seemed like not maintained, but there was a tree in the front yard, stuff like that. Kind of like, just a normal vacant property.
Okay.
I went and I skip traced it. I went to two people. I called every number. All the numbers were disconnected. I found a great grandnephew. He told me that so I can't make this up. So, and he lives in like Wisconsin, and I'm in Tampa, by the way. So,
Okay.
Joel, we know you're in Tampa.
yeah.
You call in. We know.
All
know your
right,
story.
cool. So, he basically told me, he's like, the lady died, the husband died, the lady died. They're 92, 91 years old. I just communicated with them, but they left the house with no children, no next of kin. It's in the, what is it called? Like this, like a state of whatever her name is. So is under, yeah. So and then it also has a reverse mortgage for like 180 grand. I called.
What do you think it's worth in its current state?
It's probably worth maybe like 150 to a cash buyer. I was gonna try to offer like 120 to the bank, but I can't get a hold of the bank.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go to find like who manages the state.
Do you know how long he passed away?
Last
Roughly?
year.
Yeah.
Last year. The guy gave me kind of a breakdown of it.
Yeah. Odds are it's not going to be a deal, and it's going to be the amount of work it's going to take to even get it sold is, in my opinion, not worth the time. Okay. It's in disrepair. It's in bad shape. He's got 180K reverse mortgage. Reverse mortgages, you understand how they work. Elderly people take them out. Banks take advantage of them. They have a purpose, but they're written so when someone dies, they have like 2 years before they even foreclose because they want to rack up all the attorney bills and make sure there's no equity ever left into them. And they're all preset, meaning they're really not negotiable. So most of them wind up in foreclosure. And if they're upside down, there's really nothing you can do as an investor. I know there's countless people say I can do it. Dude, you're looking at a year of your time, and then someone has to pay an attorney bill this entire time and a negotiator. And for that reason, I would just move on and find another deal. It's just the truth. I have tons and tons of them like this. The only way you have a shot is if you can catch the person within 3 months of when they've passed away, and you have somebody in the family that's working a probate to help get all the paperwork signed. So not only do you have to open up an entire probate, hire an attorney, go through all like the last will and testament, which doesn't exist. So then they got to do an announcement 90 days. Dude, you're looking at years before this property's ever sold. So I just hate to be the bearer of the bad news.
Yeah.
Just move forward, because there's nothing you can do on this property unless you want to invest like 10 grand and wait like a year or two to see if it's, and at best, it's like a 30% chance it's going to work out. A realtor is going to have a tough time until somebody clears the title and clears the lien against the property so they can sell it for market price.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Reverse mortgages are tough. They're very, very tough. And unless you catch somebody within 90 days of death, they rack up such a bill that there's never any equity ever left into them.
That was the crazy thing that I found. I went on PropStream and I found like the mortgage information, and I searched the company, and I found I went online. I found the bank is like American Reverse Mortgage or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't get in touch with anyone. Like all the phone numbers are disconnected.
Like, don't do it. Joel, just move on to the next deal. I'm just telling you from experience.
On the next one.
Just this one is it would take an entire team to take this deal down, and there's no money into it. So like, just move on. Unfortunately, that's where the property is. You were right. You saw a little bit of smoke. There should be fire there. This is the one case that it's just not going to work out. But it doesn't mean stop doing it, because if you did 10 of these, 6 or 7 will work out when you find them like this. It's just the reverse mortgage. It's like the death sentence to wholesaling. There are ways around it, but it takes a lot of experience, and you need negotiators, you need lawyers. And for that reason, I wouldn't touch it.
Steve's got it. And for that reason, I'm out.
And for that reason, I'm just telling you, I just saved you 6 months of, you would run around with your head cut off. You guys think you can pick up the bank and get it done? There's no way.
Yeah.
They're not going to answer you.
I agree.
And the other question was that I have actually started, because I work pretty close to like I live pretty close to the stadium, but I work downtown. So I've been driving and doing driving for dollars, and I've just been finding a lot of vacant land.
Okay.
But I've been kind of going into the same situation where like I can't, like a lot of them are under like the state of whoever, or, you know, something like that, or, you know, it'll say a corporate, but it's like under, you know, some weird LLC for like one person. Like literally, like the address is the LLC. Like, you know, if it's 13, you know, 123 ABC Street, it'll be like 123 ABC LLC.
Okay.
And I'm like, I try
What's
to
the mailing
trace them.
address?
I have a bunch of them, honestly, but I found
sticky notes. Only way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You got to find the ones that want to work with you.
Or look at the deed and see who signed the deed. There's a signature on there. What's the name on it?
Okay. That's the question I was going to ask. Cause yeah, I'm like, I skip trace it, and then like it comes back with nothing. And when you look at the LLC,
no, actually go to Sunbiz and look up the LLC.
Yes. I actually found someone, but it came up. It was like a very generic name, and I can't remember what was the name, because I've been doing it all this whole entire weekend. I've been driving for dollars. I got like probably like 500 properties in like a weekend.
That'd be my advice. TruePeopleSearch.com. The address, and that's honestly how you do it.
Yeah. And when I pulled up the Sunbiz, because it was like a generic LLC, it had like all the add-ons to the same LLC, like the before the name and whatever name. So yeah, I try to use the True People Search, but I'm not in a situation where I don't have to do it for free, but I try to kind of cross-reference some of the PropStream stuff and the True People Search, and I got the same information too. So
perfect.
But yeah, I mean, oh man, that's such a downer, because I think the house has a lot of potential. Like This it literally is
They
almost
signed a
like
reverse
me-
mortgage, right? Like,
Yeah,
and now the house is in disrepair.
Guys, when you hear reverse mortgage, it's just they make them difficult on
Yeah.
purpose. So unless you catch them up front with
Yeah.
a responsible petitioner or executor to like the will,
Mhm.
the bank will never ever even give you a payoff.
I agree.
So
Okay. Okay.
you got
Sounds
it.
good.
Thanks, Joel.
Go get those
Thank you,
Brussels
man.
sprouts, and if I have to eat Brussels sprouts, I'm holding you accountable.
Oh, Lord.
I'm telling you, the ones at BJ's are the best.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll put
Check
a
it
little
out.
cheese
All right.
on them.
Appreciate
All
it,
right,
Joel.
thank you
Have a great
guys.
one.
I appreciate it.
Boom. Guys, that is the point. That's what we're talking about today, guys. Go to freewholesaling.com if you learn wholesaling real estate for free, guys. This is the time to become rich in wholesaling. What are you going to do? Avoid a guru. Go to freewholesaling.com. This is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.
It will be you tomorrow, and then I'll do a live on Friday.
Yeah, so everybody missed. Hop on tomorrow. I'm pretty good with names here. Hop on. I'll hook you up. Joshua, James, Saw, LP, Robert. Let's go,
Yeah,
Vince. And
appreciate it. I'll see
appreciate
you
you guys.
guys.
I'll see you tomorrow.